so I'll beat you to the punch. Hefty Wiggle, you have a new haircut! Why, thank you for noticing. Kind of feels weird not having this mop on top of my head anymore. You know, when I first got my haircut, I thought, the source of my powers. What have I done? Then I realized I'm not a superhero. Yet. Anyway, before we get to the video, I wanted to say something that's completely irrelevant now, but I was kicking myself after last video for not mentioning it. So, at the risk of sounding like a retard, here goes. The reason I picked Detroit is their depth. That was what their strength was. I mean, when your third and fourth line could be the first line on most other teams in the league, you got a pretty good shot of winning it all. Anyway, on to the video. So Pittsburgh wins the Stanley Cup in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, only the 15th Game 7 to occur in Stanley Cup Finals history. And you know, this series has everything you want in a Stanley Cup Final. It went to 7 games, it was a back and forth series, evenly matched, close games, a goaltending duel, and the final game went to the final second, with Fleury stopping that shot with 1 second left to win the cup. This series was almost as exciting as the Pens Cap series in the second round, which is the best series I've seen in a long time. So I'm going to break down this series, bit by bit. So we'll start with the first 2 games in Detroit. One thing I thought was really interesting about the first 2 games was that 83% of the scoring came from virtual no-names. I mean, these guys weren't even really known before this series. I mean, let's see here. You have Jonathan Eriksson, Valtteri Filppula, Justin Abdelkader with 2 goals, and, oh God, I hope I pronounced this right, Brad Stewart? So who are these guys? In the regular season, Abdelkader played 2 games with 0 points. Brad Stewart had 15 points in the season. Eriksson had 4 points in 19 games. Filppula had 40 points in 80 games. I mean, that's solid, but, that's nowhere near the points leader in the Wings. It's just interesting that the big names of the Wings were off the scoreboard in the first 2 games of the series. At the other end of the ice, the Pittsburgh Penguins were frustrated in the first 2 games by the most underappreciated goaltender in the NHL, Chris Osgood. I mean, Osgood stopped 62 out of 64 shots in the first 2 games. And in both of those games, Detroit was outshot. In the first game, Detroit was outshot 32-30, and in the second game, Detroit was outshot 32-26. And they won both games by 2-goal margins, 3-1 both times. No wonder Malkin got into a tussle with Zetterberg in Game 2. When you're outplaying Detroit like that and you're still getting beaten? Going back to Pittsburgh, it's a different story. Pittsburgh wins Game 3, 4-2, and then in Game 4, breaks out with 3 goals in under 6 minutes, and again, wins 4-2. I wanted to mention Game 3 for a little bit here. Did anyone else notice how blatantly Pittsburgh biased the rest were? I mean, I just don't buy that there are 6 Penguins on the ice for 25 seconds and all the officials miss it. 25 seconds of 6-on-5 and you don't notice? Are you blind? Or how about Cook kicking Osgood in the face with no call? The refereeing was just disgraceful in that game. Going back to Detroit for Game 5, Detroit gets a boost with Pavel Datsyuk back in the lineup. And with him back in the lineup, Pittsburgh was willing to do anything to get Datsyuk off his game, including this.
He claims it was a totally innocent play. People are going to look at that video and say that you may have targeted that left foot of Pavel Datsyuk. What do you have to say to that implication?
I don't know. He was just there. I tried to hack for the puck.
Problem is, the replay clearly shows that Pavel Datsyuk didn't have the puck when Talbot dropped the lumber on his injured left foot. Total coincidence you got him in the left foot?
Oh, yeah.
Going after the puck? How about deliberately targeting a player that was injured in that foot? I'm sorry, Maxime Talbot, you were a difference maker in this series, but you're also a dirty player. I'm not a Pittsburgh hater either. I'm really not. I'm not bitter about my prediction being wrong. But if you go after and hack away at someone's injured ankle, that's inexcusable. But either way, Pittsburgh falls apart, takes too many dumb penalties for hooking, elbowing, slashing, you name it, and Fleury didn't help either with 5 goals on just 21 shots, getting him yanked from the net. So the lack of composure cost Pittsburgh big time. But after Fleury was pulled, Sikora pulls him aside, gives him a little pep talk and says, if we're going to win this cup, you're going to win it for us. And Fleury rebounds big time in the next 2 games. Wins the game for the Pens at home, is really the difference maker again, and the Penguins are going to Game 7 against the Wings back in Detroit. Now for this game, me and a few Leaf Spacers got together at Jack Astor's downtown on Front Street to watch the game. Leafs Fans 71 organized it, and a few of my friends were there, including Hockey Girl 13, Chancellor, Leafer by Blood, Habs Suck, and of course Leafs Fans 71. Thank you for organizing it. So here's my footage from the game. Enjoy. And since I'm pro, I even got Chancellor to do the introduction for me.
Hey hockey fans, Buddy Chancellor here. 246 days since October 9th.
No, I didn't.
That's when the NHL season started. That's when all these players got underway and started searching for tonight. Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals. How about you join me, join Leaf Space, and we'll enjoy Game 7, Leaf Space style.
Okay, we're here with Chancellor and Hockey Girl 13. Who do you think is going to win and what's going to be the score tonight?
I hate to do this because I love the Pens so much, but I think it's going to be Detroit score 5-3. I hate to say it, but
5-3, high scoring game.
It's my guess.
Okay, alright. What do you think?
I want Pittsburgh to win, but I think Detroit's going to win at 4-2.
Detroit's going? Okay, hold on. Okay. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 for Detroit.
Overtime?
No overtime. 2-1 regulation. Game 7 victory for Detroit. Leaf Fan 71, he just arrived. What do you think? Who's going to win tonight?
How about Pittsburgh 22? Even though it's going to be very close, but Detroit almost undefeated at home. It's going to happen, but I'm going to go for Pittsburgh 22 in this game.
That is our vantage point for the game. So we're not entirely sure what's going on. It's in the first period. We also have half the screen way over there. So yeah. And the bartender's saying that if we don't have another group here in 10 minutes, we're getting kicked out. So a good start to the night. So Pittsburgh just scored. It's 1-0 midway through the second. I don't know what to tell you, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, Osgood Fleury will be the difference. Osgood led in the first goal, but I have faith in Detroit. They're going to come back and win it. Mark my words.
I want to make one thing clear. I did say the difference in the game would be between Osgood and Fleury. I just didn't say it on my camera. I happened to say it instead on Chancellor's camera and forgot, I guess. So if you want to see that video from Chancellor, links over here.
Pittsburgh just scored their second goal midway through the second period. I don't know. All these happy Pittsburgh fans. Fools, I tell you.
Since this video is running a little long, I have posted it in 2 parts. The second part of my Stanley Cup Finals wrap-up is going to be a video response down here. Click on the link and watch it. It'll probably be around 4 minutes long.